I jokingly referred to this episode as hot from the oven.
System settings.
Where we discuss topics that are dried out, just like raisins. Okay.
Well, you know, we just like to stay on topic.
God, this one's going to need a brutal level of editing. She gets in the car. She says, "Buckle up, buckaroos," and then runs someone over. Oh my God! Every single time.
This is all for this.
Whoa!
This is all for this.
Holy, you, man.
Yeah.
Tyler, have you seen this? Have you seen this?
Just make sure we're recording.
Yeah.
No, don't spoil it.
No, it was a friend of mine. I sent it to Baz.
Here we go. Wait for it if you're watching this. I've watched that clip 300 times since he sent it to me, which was what, 2 days ago? Friday, or when was it? Monday?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I've watched that clip.
2023.
I watched that clip so many times. And it's the best thing I've seen all summer, all spring, all
summer,
winter, for all future, all past. Because there's so much in that video that's just like you, Ben. It's there's a defiance, which is natural to you, of course. And there's the politeness. It's simultaneous politeness, defiance, and just, an acceptance of oneself, an acceptance so comfortable, it teeters between admirable and disrespectful. You know what I mean? To just everyone around you. And
no, you're right. Look, it's like, I feel like it's the 21st century equivalent, like one of Monet's visions of his lily ponds. Like, because it depends, like you say, depending on how you're seeing it, you can infer defiance because the party's still going on, but I've decided to check out. You can infer politeness, as you say, because look, I'm not interrupting anyone else's night.
No,
I'm not even sleeping in an obnoxious position.
No, you've decided.
I'm clearly not. I'm not snoring to disturb anyone's conversation.
Nope.
I'm not vomiting.
Nope. You've simply decided the night has come, and so too shall I come to an end.
Right. This is done now. This is look, I've had my fun.
Right.
This is great. Like, look, you guys want to carry on? You carry on.
Carry on.
Somehow, I am going to sleep through, I'm going to say 11 people.
Yep.
Having a full-blown conversation. I'm pretty sure someone brought in a speaker.
Yep.
So somebody's playing music in that clip.
They were.
And I'm sitting there like, no, man, I'm good.
Tyler has to get this. Tyler has to get the sound in the edit because it's deafening. It's deafening.
Oh my God.
It's deafening. It's deafening. And it's like I think Ben told me this. It's like a Scorsese film, right? It's not about what's in. What did you say, Ben? It's not about what's inside.
The Scorsese, because there's a Scorsese quote, which is it's about what's in the frame and what's not in the frame. And so, like, in the beginning, you don't know. It's just, why is this a collection of people,
right?
Indiscriminate, unnameable, unidentifiable,
of all races, of all backgrounds. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful cross section of
right. It's like a Benetton ad.
Britain. Love that. Love that.
Yeah.
And then you don't know. You're sitting there going, why? Why? So many innocuous people having a New Year's party, having a good time. This is not a remarkable piece of footage. Oh, wait, Div.
You know, I watched that on the
slow
toilet.
pan. Go on.
No, go on.
I was going to say, cue the slow pan to the slumbering man
Yeah.
who has decided like that. I really worry though that that's going to set the precedent for my 2023. Just if we extrapolate that evening out to the year, round about September, I'm done. I'll check it out.
I mean, do we really need to wait that long? I feel like you're settling in to dad with no children, which is a role I'm highly familiar with. What I love about it too is your clothing's perfect whilst you're sleeping. Your clothing is not a single goddamn wrinkle.
Not creased.
Yeah. Like just perfectly lying down. Just it's breathtaking and upsetting. Like it's a lot. I've watched this before I've gone to bed. I've watched it on the toilet. I've watched it. I've watched it.
The other thing is, but there's so much commotion that I'm slightly alarmed at the fact that nobody checked to see if I was breathing, because there's so much going on. There's so much ambient noise that
they're worried
normal human
themselves.
Right. There's no normal human would sleep through all of that.
What was going through my mind was, are you laying on a bed?
Yeah.
So is everyone just partying in someone's bedroom? Like you guys can't use a full house?
Literally. So at that point, because this is well past New Year. We've done the celebration. This is well past New Year. So everyone's sort of broken off into
Wait. What time is this? Tell him what time this is.
I think it's about. I don't really remember. Would you believe? But it's. I think it's about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning at this point, and I'm just there like, man, I'm done. I've New Year this New Year. I'm good. Right. And by that point in the night, like everyone's kind of split up around the house. Everyone's kind of gone to different points. Like I'm thankfully, or really frankly, I should count my lucky stars that no one is trying to use that bedroom to copulate while I'm in it. Mm-hmm. It's nice that it's just people chatting with a bit of music
copulate.
Playing, like
this English. Yeah, no, go on. You just say.
Oh look, I used the word so he didn't have to censor it. No one tried to went and ruined it.
No, that's fine. True. That's true. No, that's fair enough. Fair enough. Go on.
This is a family show,
right? Right.
Good night.
just it's really like I feel like if you get when you get married, you should show this in like the clips that everyone, you know how everybody does like a clip thing, right?
Right.
That has to be in there.
But like the thing is, but if I was her, I'd be fucking terrified because I'd be like, you're 27 years old. This happens to 65-year-olds.
Only in body. You are not 27 years old. In spirit, I have never met anyone more cantankerous, more upset. You remind me, because like I love hip hop, right? And like all these young hip hop artists, especially SoundCloud artists, are always talking about how sad they are. I'm like, nigga, why the fuck are you talking about? You 22 and a millionaire. Like, what are you talking about? Talk about bitches. Talk about party. Yeah. Like, you're 22 and you have a diamond encrusted in your forehead. Like, worth 100. Like, what is there to be?
Hindus flexing differently these days.
Right. Yeah. Well, you know, that's I forget. I think it's Little Uzi. Tyler, you know what's cool.
Oh,
what's
wait
cool?
a minute. Sorry. I thought you were saying that as a joke. Someone's actually
literally
got a diamond
he put a big old diamond on his forehead.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. In that case, I rescind the joke about the bindi spot. Sorry, Hindus.
That's very fun. No, that is still very funny.
What? Wait, sorry, we're talking like full. Wait.
Sorry, Hindus, says Englishman. Just like I feel like
big up Rishi Sunak.
I feel like we're 200 years. No, that's true. You did make it up to
first Hindu prime minister in British history.
That's true. Not a hip hop artist though, and he shot no one in the leg. I don't think.
Lil Uzi has shot someone in the leg.
Did he? Uzi?
I don't know, I'm asking.
Oh no, Tory Lanez. Tory Lanez definitely shot somebody.
Tory Lanez. Okay. Current events, fresh out the oven. Got you. Yes. Tory Lanez.
You did really great with that one, Ben. I'm really proud of you.
As
you
can tell, I'm big on what Tory Lanez is getting up to. Huge.
Listen,
I mean, bearing in mind, in my mind, Tory Lanez' freestyle on Aiden Ross is still current.
You have to understand that you have friends who are niggas now. And what that means is that you are going to have to become aware of what newsism is or isn't important to them.
Now.
Before, just you lived a niggaless existence. And now, and now, everywhere you look, there's black people around you. I noticed this when we were in a room the other day. I was like, I think Ben's the only white dude in this entire room.
Well, that's pretty common. That's pretty common. I mean, that I told you about that time, like when I was at a university party and I was the only white guy there, and then one of the guys in the room went, "How does it feel?"
Yeah.
And I remember being like sort of really put on the spot there because I don't know what the right answer is. I don't think there is one.
I mean,
anything I say, you're going to weaponize.
I felt really powerful. I'm not going to lie. I was like, oh, we've got him outnumbered. So, if he tries to act out, we can just group and remind him who owns this area. No, I mean, Tory Lanez was, I think, tried and guilty of all charges against Meg Thee Stallion. If you don't know what happened, Tory Lanez shot Meg Thee Stallion in the foot. And for a while,
I know who both these people are.
You know who Meg Thee Stallion is? Yeah. You know who Meg Thee Stallion is.
I do.
Questions for later. So he shoots Meg Thee Stallion in the foot. Everyone doesn't believe Meg. The trial gets a little bit weird, a little bit iffy. But then the dude gets found guilty on all charges, which was interesting to me, especially since the story kept changing. I don't know why. I don't know. Just I don't know if you're familiar with the court case, but it all seems so cartoonish. Like apparently before he shot her in the foot, he said, "Dance, bitch," which that's not a thing someone says. You know what I mean? Like who? I don't know. That's like some Looney Tune character shit. Like who says "dance, bitch" and then just starts shooting at somebody's leg, at somebody's feet. But anyways, the point is,
it does sound a little. Yeah, you're right. That does sound Looney Tunes. I mean, it would have been far more on brand if he'd said, "Make it clap. I've got the strap."
Wait. What did you just
say? There we go. There, and thus Ben has exhausted his entire knowledge of the library of Tory Lanez's bars.
Wait? Was that a Tory bar? I didn't even know that.
That's from the Aiden Ross freestyle, which is an unbelievable freestyle. She make it clap. I got the strap. Yeah.
Wait, what is that? Did you just play it? Who played it just now? Is
that Tyler? Tyler did a rendition.
Oh, did you play? Oh, well done, Tyler. Well done.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's a weird thing. It's I feel bad for the kid, but maybe don't shoot people if it's true. Yeah. I guess you get what you deserve.
Well, the thing is, we said it. I said it on the Jeff Charles episode. Unusually for a Brit, I am pro Second Amendment. I do love the idea of and the responsibility of owning a gun. But maybe one of the good things about being a Brit with this view on guns is it's at least tempered by the fact that nobody around me has a gun. So I wouldn't feel the need to get it out at a social event. And I think if somebody could easily clip this bit and make it look like I'm talking about my penis, but I'm not. I'm talking about a gun. There's no need to whip it out.
Everyone was thinking about your penis.
There's no need to point it at people.
Yeah,
keep it sheathed. Keep it. You don't even need the holster. Like why do you need a gun at a party? Like I don't understand. I know for security, all that kind of stuff, but like at a party, really, at a house party, like what was this at a New Year gathering? How long ago was this?
I don't remember. I think it was a couple of years ago. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if he did it.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah. I thought he was going to get off.
Was this before? Because bearing in mind, I didn't know who in God's name Megan the Stallion was? First of all, that just annoys me. Like, because if we translate that from Shakespearean English, her name is Megan you Stallion, which is just a nightmare on so many levels.
I've never hated you more. Go on. Yeah.
Okay.
Keep going. Yeah.
Why? Why has this been the thing that's pushed you over the edge?
Because it's just, again, it's just earth-shatteringly English. It's just like violently English. Like, you didn't have to say that. I appreciate it, and so do the other nerds who are attracted to you.
In the world of rap, okay, replacing an S with a Z or Z at least doesn't affect the phonetics of that word.
Yeah.
Like Tory Lanez, for example. We know that is pronounced Lanes because it's just replaced an S with a Z. Same phonic. But adding an extra E to the and then demanding when there is a word spelt with an extra E, the, and then
it's really amazing to know that you got laid ever in your life, buddy. Like, it's really like, it's like we get it. High school was hard for you. You don't have to make that our problem. Anyways, the point is, found guilty. A lot of people didn't think he was going to be guilty. I remember watching a thing with that DJ Academic saying that he wasn't going to be found guilty, or he was going to be found guilty, but the internet would find him innocent, which I thought was a really interesting phrase. And to me, what's interesting about it is that it kind of plays into this whole thing that's kind of happened in the past year with like figures like Amber Heard and the whole sort of Me Too thing and stuff like that. Like, I thought this would be maybe Me Too or the Amber Heard for like black dudes, especially with how like shaky the case was. But I guess not. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to make of this one. Yeah. So, anyways,
it's weird that it's taken so long to come to light. Like, that's really strange.
2 years, I think something like that, or something like that. I mean, I don't know. I don't know why he carried the strap. I mean, like, if you're a black dude in the States, I get you having a strap, but if you're a rapper, yeah, I don't know.
Surely this must have been at a private party.
I don't remember. I think they went to like I think it was like some sort of private party, and then they left. I mean, you're from another country, right? Tory Lanez isn't from the States; he's from Canada. Why would you have a strap on you? Right? It makes no sense. Yeah. You know what I mean? I get it if you're a U.S. citizen. I don't get it if you're visiting. They'll look for any excuse to throw you out.
Well,
right?
Trudeau loves. Oh no,
that's right.
No,
that's right. No, and so, I mean, I think he's going back to Canada, which is better than Mr. Tate. I know Tate's stuck in a prison in Romania. I guess.
Oh, what a segue!
Yeah,
what a segue! Masterfully done.
Listen here, man. I am not. I do relatively well for myself. I can buy a flight business class and find you. So if you want to get cheeky, that's fine. But I just want to remind you that I've been working out a lot, and your time will come. So he's doing better than Tate. You bitch ass.
Oh yeah, so on to our top story. Andrew Tate got arrested. Have you heard?
Yeah. Well, the thing is like I feel like sometimes, I don't know, threatening people's life is so easy for me. It's effortless.
No, that was better. That was better. No, that was better than a direct threat on one's life. Like saying I can find you, because then the mystery is still there. The mystery remains.
I could kiss you, right, in front of your girl. And thus cement her feelings of my being your sugar daddy, or you know what I mean? What is she? How much does she hate me?
No,
I think about that all the time.
We can't use that.
I think about how much she hates me constantly. No, leave that in, Tyler. Don't.
This is way. No, she doesn't.
She hates me.
This is not true.
She hates me, and that's okay because I get it. You know, I would hate me too. I've taken your attention from her, and you know, who's this guy, right? This strapping young black lad to whisk away.
Well, at least you referred to yourself as young. That's good.
Wow, from downtown. Yeah, from
No,
like,
because you are, you fuck. When you sit there and you go like, "Oh yeah, Ben, you know you're so young. I'm only 5 years older than you, but you know, God, you're so young. You're from a different time, man.
you are
You
though.
probably started off with the iPhone 3GS. Oh wow, man, crazy, crazy
Well, when
time.
I graduated high school,
We're
you
both 32 pin connector people. Okay,
were.
that's that era.
Yeah. The point is Ben's fiance hates me, and that's okay. And I've found peace with that. She's not the first white woman I've upset, and nor will she be the
Right,
last.
we're not putting this in. I'm
We were
saying
putting
that
all
now.
of it in.
No, we're not putting this in. She doesn't want to even be
I'm
mentioned
joking.
on air.
I'm joking,
Okay.
fiance. Don't worry. Don't worry. No, I mean, I think here's the thing. It's been interesting watching what's happening in the world. It's been interesting to watch, especially in terms of like what goes on in terms of masculinity. The Tory Lanez thing really surprised me. I thought he would be found innocent, especially with all the information that was sort of being leaked to social media and the strange testimonials that were occurring. And then he wasn't. Um, so what's interesting about that is, you know, if it's true, yeah, you know, fuck that guy. Don't shoot people in the leg. That's stupid. However, as a darkie, I'm very suspicious of the American justice system most times. Not always, but a lot. Um, so I don't know. I don't know what happened, but that case is a little less clear cut. Mr. Tate, on the other hand, I don't know what the hell is going on with that dude, but that dude is just always knee deep in shit, and I don't know what it is. Like, it starts out with him tweeting at Greta Thunberg about, you know, what does he say? Oh,
He says like I've my Bugatti Chiron has an 8-liter engine.
hilarious.
My Ferrari 812s have 6.5-liter engines, and I've got 2 of them. If you want a full portfolio of my car's emissions profiles, I'll email them to you.
What an asshole.
And then she then responds with, it's such an own goal from Greta. Like, all these people saying it's the greatest put down of all time. Like, it's quick and it's witty and it's funny.
No, her
like,
media
certainly.
handler is really great.
Absolutely, yeah, right, exactly. Because
she's retarded,
like,
so she can't think of.
well, if she really is autistic, she would have actually been sat there going, "Well, I'm looking forward to receiving the emissions profile for his entire portfolio." Like, she wouldn't be coming back. But it's such an own goal when she says like, "My email address, email it to my email address, smalldickenergy@getalife.com."
I don't know if it's a cell phone.
Explore that. No, let's explore that for a hot second.
I don't think so.
No, but she's gone to a website called getalife.com. What does that say about you? And then she's chosen her handle as Small Dick Energy. It's such an it's the bit, because I saw Tate's response and it was really funny when he talked about it, because he says, like, you know, thank you for confirming via your email address that you have a small penis. That was funny. But then he goes, like, it was the bit where he's talking about her with sitting somewhere in the cold with the heating off to protect the environment, like shivering with a little hat. And it's like, you can so imagine that little, I don't even know what Greta looks like. She looks like some sort of woodland animal, like a friendly one. Not like an attacking one.
What does she look like? She looks like what is she? Good God, she's got a weird face, man. I don't have anything against Miss Thunberg. She is retarded, and so I can't really make fun of her too much.
Hell.
Well, she's retarded. It's fine.
Well, it's like, no, it's but the trouble I've got with her is it's like, or it's not even with her, as you say, her handlers, because this is the point, right? is the real.
She didn't
the real
write
trouble
that.
Is,
she didn't write that shit, bro.
no.
There's
But
no
again,
way.
the own goals with her they come pretty thick and fast. So, like for example, the whole selling point around her is
I know.
look.
That's what I was saying. Exactly. He just says it came. It just comes thick and fast. I was like, all right,
Brilliant.
well, it's fine.
Brilliant.
Go on.
Class of children this evening.
Yep.
But no, so it's like
14.
But the trouble with it is, like her handlers keep scoring these own goals.
Sir, you said come, sir. Isn't that how you guys talk? Is that what you guys do?
Fuck's sake! But then, like,
sir.
But it's like because the whole cell around Greta.
Why hasn't there been an Oliver Twist porn? You know what I mean? Like a pervy Oliver. You know what I mean? Like,
that's an almighty change in gears.
No, we'll get back to it. But real quick, like the phrase "please, sir, I want some more," and it is like perfect.
There definitely is. Do you know
There's
what?
gotta be.
I'm gonna sacrifice my internet history now on
That's
air
fine.
to look this up.
Get them, fellas. Whoever's watching.
Right. Let's try.
There used to be a site.
Oliver Twist parody. Oliver Twist prawn parody.
There's
you can't say that word. I learned this off Sneeko. You have to say prawn.
Yes.
That way you don't get censored.
There's got to be. There's got to.
No, genuinely, they say prawn and they say grape.
No, not that. It's just like there's got to be an Oliver Twist.
Literally, the first result. Oliver Twist gay porn parody. Please, can I have some more? And here's the description. God, this gets better. Oliver Twist porn : it's his 18th birthday, and this twink is ready to seek fortune as a gay escort, but fucks the cook before asking for more.
The word, is it bad that I imagined you as the twink in that? Like that's
that's really yes it is. That's that's really bad.
Please, sir, I want some more. And the dude's just like, you want some more? And then he just slowly unbuckles his belt. That's very funny. Anyways, back to Greta the retard. Okay, so we were saying about her and her retard handlers, right?
I'm amazed that I'm the one shocked at your vitriol towards somebody.
What are you talking about? I'm not. It's not vitriol. It's okay. I'm not mad at her. She's retarded. It's okay. I have lots of retarded friends. I think they call it Asperger's, but like I don't really listen to it. Like it's like you're retarded.
You can't call it that anymore, can you?
What is it now? Autism?
I don't know. Oh, you have to say ASD, I think, because Asperger's, like the doctor, he was the Nazi or something. Well, so like. You can't call it that.
It
anymore.
would take a Nazi though to recognize orderliness to to such an extreme. Like it would take a German to be like, hey, this is a sickness. Like we're orderly, but like this is a lot. That's funny. Yeah. Okay. So all right. So she's got retarded handlers sending shit out for her, and then what?
Well, it's the point that like the whole sell of her when she first came on the scene was, look how serious climate change is because a child is shouting about it.
Right.
And it's like, no, that has the exact opposite effect of what you want.
Right.
It shows that like literally this is the parallels with evangelical religious people are writing themselves at this point. You have a child was born unto us to save us, bring us to salvation, a way to quote Tate again, to stop the sun from being hot. And it's like because, but the other thing is as well on a slightly more serious note, although that's a not really happened.
I'll put
so
an end
far
to that real quick. Yeah.
But the Greta Thunberg thing is like the whole pitch as well is that, oh look, we've got a teenager.
Right.
We've got a child. A child is so worried about this, so we should listen to her. She's no longer a child now. So she has no credentials. Which is what these people love, right? It's what these, these mask-wearing, innovation-hating, high quality of life loathing reprobates. The thing that they love is credentials. Like the moment anyone says, "Well, maybe the vaccine doesn't work," well, you're not a virologist.
Right.
The moment,
As
anyone
if
talking
as
about
if I'm at home with my Bunsen burner, right?
right,
Just having
exactly,
to.
exactly. Like if you're saying maybe I don't think teachers should be allowed to tell my son that he's actually my daughter without my consent. Well, you're not an expert in child education. Like these people love an expert.
Yeah.
This person, Greta Thunberg, is not any of those things. She has no accolades.
Right.
She didn't finish school. She isn't well educated on the subject. She isn't
She's
particularly
retarded.
articulate.
Yeah.
Right. Why? At what point does she then? And the whole appeal is that she's this young person. Well, that expires.
Correct.
Like you're being a child. She's 19. She's an adult. She's
legal?
that's expired now. So now what? Do they
She's
go
legal?
get another one? Do they try a Finnish one this time? Maybe a Norwegian, maybe an Icelandic, bit of a change. Like, do they just go around the secondary schools of Scandinavia and find somebody camping and go, hey, fancy being the face of defying human achievement?
I didn't realize she was legal. Have you ever had sex with a retard before? What?
Oh my god. I did not see.
What?
I wasn't prepped for this.
Just asking.
I don't know why I'm surprised. The conversations we have in the past, I don't know why I'm surprised. But I
don't
am.
know what you're talking about.
No, I haven't. No, I've never.
You've never fucked a
done
retard?
that. Not knowingly, anyway.
You ever seen a retard with the heavies? You never seen that shit?
What?
Tyler knows what I'm talking about. Tyler knows what I'm talking about. You ever seen that Victoria's Secret bitch?
Why the particular
Full Down
emphasis on
syndrome, bro.
retard?
Full Down syndrome. Heavies. She has the heavies, son. She has the heavies. She's got the heavies.
So
bro.
why is that? But is it
I don't
something
know,
special about seeing them on a retarded person?
I mean, it's interesting because like she's super thin, right? Which is, it's hard to be thin when you have Downs. I think that's like a thing, isn't it, or something like that? And so like for that, why are you laughing? And so for her to be thin, and then have such ginormous breasts, you know what I mean? Like that's really impressive. Like all while being retarded. You know what I mean? Like that's a lot.
Are we still talking about Greta?
I'm talking about fucking Greta, yes. So here's the thing. Well, not Greta. Maybe the retarded girl on Victoria's Secret. I think you'd have to.
Oh,
you'd have to.
Oh, I remember hearing about this.
Yeah.
What? There was a Down syndrome Victoria's Secret model.
Yeah. She's still there. Yeah, I checked her out. Yeah,
But this is the thing that I don't get. It's like I remember seeing on Strictly Come Dancing, which is a very big. It's our Dancing with the Stars, right?
Yeah.
And big show over here. And
you guys just have the great show called The Specials. Shout out to The Specials. I love that show. Yeah.
And then there was a children's TV presenter on who had Down syndrome, and I'm sitting there going like,
great choice.
Right. It's like, no, your job is to speak clearly to a camera, and so that people can understand you who are watching the television. And with the greatest respect in the world, he's got a speech impediment because of a condition that's beyond his control.
Right.
And I don't see this as loving and accepting. I see it as putting this person up there as an exhibit and basically exploiting them for their disability.
Yeah.
Like you're going, well, you'll win us societal points. Go up there and perform. Yeah, do the funny voice. Do the Down syndrome voice.
Or maybe we're opening doors. Like, hey, a chick with Down syndrome is fuckable too.
Oh,
right?
Fucking hell.
You think she got that retard strength in bed, bro? What do you think? She's got to, right? They've got that strength.
What? This sounds like the boardroom scene in Wolf of Wall Street when they're talking about dwarf throwing.
No,
Yes,
that scene didn't make sense. Why would you throw a dwarf? I mean, like if they asked each other, like, yo, how long does it take for a dwarf to freeze? That's an interesting question. Like, is it faster? They're closer to the Earth, right? I guess but so that makes more sense to me. But like, yeah. Anyways, retard strength. That's what I think about when I think about having sex with someone with Down syndrome.
So you look at the Victoria's Secret model like She-Hulk.
I bet, bro. Like all that strength is probably stored in her boobs or something. You know what I mean? She probably.
Wait, is this person well endowed?
Go look, bro. She's got. Sorry, I'm really obsessed with this chick's. Anyways, yeah, Greta Thunberg, politics, whatever. Go back to that. Yeah, yeah.
Have you had a joint? Have you been smoking
No.
on the slide during this episode?
This is who I am. Yeah, I've hidden it from you for a real long time. So, but yeah, no, I don't really listen. I mean, look, man, the reason why I like joke around, honestly, and you've seen me do this in conversation with people. You're dealing with really unserious people. So why the fuck should I be serious? You know what I mean?
What you mean, like these people in the public eye?
Yeah, like you're Greta Thunberg.
No, I know what you mean. As in, like, yeah, why? Yeah, the whole situation is a joke. Like, it's very funny. Like bringing it all the way back to the beginning when because the whole sort of stem of this arm of the conversation was Tate and Greta on Twitter, and like you've got all these sort of people that are sat there frothing, waiting for the next seedling of a conspiracy theory to go, like the pizza box thing, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, the pizza boxes, that's how they got him, And it's like, and I believed it for a hot second. I was sitting there going, oh, maybe it was. I don't know.
I was like, I don't think he's that stupid. Yeah.
Well, no, but the other thing is like, I know he flies private, but the authorities can still look at flight records. They can still find out when his plane landed and where,
right?
If they really wanted to,
right?
And the trouble is, normally I am one for saying, no, there's no such thing as coincidence. You know, like if there ever is, let's treat that with the requisite amount of suspicion and let's have a little look. But
I used to not believe Alex Jones ever on anything, and I still don't on a couple of things. But it is creepy how right he is on a lot of things. Seriously, that dude is.
I grew up like when the first thing I ever saw on Alex Jones was him on Piers Morgan when he does like, wait, let me.
That's gotta be awful.
When he goes like, and I'm here to tell you, 1776 will commence again if you try to take our firearms. And like he really goes for him, right? And he gets really animated, and it's like it's really. Yeah, I can't do. I'm pretty sure every time I do that voice, it gives me like scar tissue on my larynx.
Every time you do the American voice, an American child loses their scholarship,
loses some weight.
Or okay, no, you know what? Okay. It's a good one. It's a good one.
It's a force,
I'll get you back. I'll get you back. Don't worry. Don't worry. Loading up.
But no, it's like because I remember that was all I got was that snippet of
Alex
Jones.
Yeah.
And then because John Oliver used to be brilliant when he was in the UK.
I missed that.
Yeah, me too, man. Me too. Like his bits on Mock the Week were incredible. But then I saw his bit, which was actually quite funny, where he talks about Alex Jones. And so that gave me this veneer of who Alex Jones is, and that's entirely who he is. And now I'm sitting there just going like, no, I'm actually really pleased that somebody like Alex Jones exists. I want. It was like Rogan said, isn't it? It's like, does the fact that he was wrong about Sandy Hook and that he said lots of awful things really supersede all the genuine investigative journalism that man has done? Like Bohemian Grove, like he broke that story.
Yeah.
And he's been banging on about so many, like he's been banging on about Epstein's Island for decades, and everyone goes, "You're a quack, you're a loon," and it's true. And he's done that, and there are so many examples of that. And then, is there not any level of forgiveness for a man who, after being correct about all these what can we call them? All these, what are they? Well, lies. All these lies that we have been spun and we've been told. Is there not any level of forgiveness that, yeah, on one occasion he got it wrong, and it actually turned out that it wasn't a conspiracy, and that it was a horrible massacre in a school?
Yeah, I think they just. I mean, the new thing is now. This is interesting that you bring this up because this is a part of something that I'm realizing about just society in general, which is there's this new game being played, especially as we grow closer and closer to a gynocentric society, which is the facts matter less and less. How people feel about you.
Right.
I mean, it's always mattered, right? It's not to say that it's never mattered what people have felt about you. I've just never been in a time where it's the only thing that matters
Well,
about
also,
you.
usually, historically, the feelings tended to follow something. They didn't lead.
Right.
So, ordinarily it was like, oh, I really hate that guy because he cheated on his wife. Oh, well, actually, it turns out he didn't. Oh, okay, that feeling's now changed. I no longer hate that guy because I've got new information,
Right.
and he did. Now it turns out he didn't cheat on his wife. Now it's, I really hate that guy because he cheated on his wife. Oh no, it turns out that isn't true. He didn't actually cheat on his wife.
I
Well,
still
no,
hate that guy.
because I feel this way,
Right.
then something else must be wrong because I can't be.
Right.
Like that seems to be the paradigm that we're in. Is that
Yeah.
yeah, that whole shtick is, because this is what is the concern with Tate, is because it's very concerning. It's a bit like Derek Chauvin with the George Floyd case, right?
Yeah.
Like that guy, yes, he technically went into a courtroom, and technically, yes, he got sentenced by a judge. Let's call a spade a spade. That was trial by public.
He wasn't going to get out. He wasn't going to get out.
jeering.
He wasn't going to get
Right.
out.
There was
But
no way he was getting a fair trial.
he was well. I mean, this is where we defer. I think the police are brutal on lots of people. So it's nice to make an example.
No, I'm
out
not
of at least
disagreeing
one
with
of
that.
them.
But what I'm saying is, like, the trouble is,
Yeah, there was no
with
way
that
it
case
was
in
going to
particular.
go in with. Yeah.
Well, like the public wanted blood.
Yeah. Well, that's.
And,
I mean, that's.
and they made so much noise that they were going to get
but
blood.
Here's what sort of reassures me, right? Especially about that case is the who's the kid who killed those who had to defend himself in Omaha
Kyle Rittenhouse.
Rittenhouse.
Yeah.
Rittenhouse got a fair trial, man. Anyone who's saying you put your emotions. Well, that's the thing is like.
It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be impressive. It shouldn't be even remarkable that the kid got a fair trial. But
that's what's kind of showing me that there's some semblance of balance, right? When I see stuff like that, when I see if Tory Lanez really did it, man, throw him in jail, right? Like I'm not,
right.
You know me, not exactly the defender of the ladies. Well, relatively hashtag protect all white women. Yeah, no, I'm not one of those, right? But I am a big fan of the truth, and yeah, if the dude fucked up, then he goes to jail. Same thing with Chauvin, right? But same thing with Amber Heard. The Amber Heard case, I didn't think Johnny Depp would win. I thought he lost that. I would have thought he was going to lose that case. I was like, there's no way he's going to win. No man ever wins when it comes to stuff like this.
But even that, it's quite similar because the public gets so charged up, and like this, the thing that concerns me now is like, was it just that Johnny Depp supporters happened to be louder this time?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
No.
Here's why. Here's what I thought, because I listened to that recording a year before it actually came out, and I was shocked by it. It was all over YouTube. No one was talking about it for some reason, and I don't know. Well, I do know why, but no one was really talking about it. And I remember there's this one guy in particular. I wish I remember his YouTube channel because I would shout him out. but he showed the clip line by line, and that's the first time I heard her say, "Who's going to believe you, Johnny?
Who's going to believe you?"
Yeah, like it's your word against mine. It was like something. It was like this. It was like evil. It was like a movie. It was like movie dialogue.
It's a villain's monologue before they
Right.
kill the hero.
Right.
Right.
And it
like,
was, and I couldn't believe it, but there wasn't a recording. Right. But it took a year before he could actually do something about it. Right. And by then, people had sort of slaughtered him. And so justice is complex. You know, my ex is her mother is a professor of law at the University of Virginia. And I remember asking her, you know, is there such thing as justice? And she said no, and then asked me to pass the syrup to her. And that's like that. I was like, I was like 19 at the time, and it left a huge impression on me because it was like, okay, here's this brilliant woman, right? Who is professor, now she's professor emeritus, right, at UVA, one of the top 10 law schools in the United States, and here she is just kind of casually in a blasé manner telling me that justice isn't a thing. So I don't know, man. The American justice
system. It is at the micro level. You know, it is at the micro level. Like, well, less and less so because everything's being so sanitized. But like, we have. It's exactly like when we were speaking to Jeff, and like both you and I are fans of the likes of Jordan Peterson, and similarly, for very similar reasons to Jordan Peterson, Andrew Tate as well, because the idea of
Tate to an extent for me, but yeah.
Well, yeah, no, I'm with you, right? So, like, because the main thing that I love is the overarching message of that kind of that personal responsibility of taking accountability for yourself and standing up, being counted. Like, and when I talk about justice on the micro level, is when I told you this story about the first time that I got punched in the face.
Yeah,
was when I was in high school, and I said to I was in the first year, and I said to a kid in the fifth year, I said, "Run, fat boy, run," because he was a big kid, and he came over because I was trying to show off, and he came over to me because he was fat, and he just punched me square in the face, and I remember like getting hit and being like, "Oh my god,
there's consequences."
Wow, Ben,
yeah,
there's consequences, and like that. Even though I came off on the bad end of it, one could make a very strong case that was justice. Right. I spoke out of turn and thought I could get away with it, and I didn't. And it's like, and that's what I mean about the micro level. But yes, on the macro level, it's much more difficult because people just get like, for example, Tate. You've got these people who, like the guy had in April or whatever, earlier in 2022, he was arrested, and the headlines, and I have to say the headlines because I actually don't know what the actual charges were that were leveled against him. Like on this one, even this one, the most recent one, I've heard or seen rather online that it's not human trafficking. He's actually been arrested on suspicion of money laundering. And so it's like, but the trouble is, now that human trafficking and Andrew Tate have been put together and that hot air balloon,
even though that case was dismissed,
well, now that that's been let go into the ether,
that's what he's going to be.
It's human trafficking. Like, if you went up to a random person between 15 and 25 and went, "What do you know about Andrew Tate?" If they didn't like him, the first thing they'd be able to tell you is, wasn't he involved in human trafficking?" Like, they don't know whether that's true, but it may as well be.
They also don't. But here's the thing: they don't care. They don't care if it's.
They don't care. No, that's a very good point. They don't care.
It's not about the truth. That's the harsh lesson I learned in my own life was it doesn't matter what I do. It doesn't matter if I want to do the right thing.
I don't believe. Sorry, go on.
I was just saying, we've talked, you and I, about getting canceled and why we do this show and all that stuff. And for me, that was the biggest thing I learned when I got canceled was it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I had the right intentions. It doesn't matter if I didn't actually do anything wrong. It doesn't matter if I go out of my way to what I thought, or at least what I thought at the time, was stand up for people who couldn't stand up for themselves. What mattered was what the mob thought and what the
Right.
the mob's distaste of me. Right. It was that was really eye opening for me, because it taught me that right and wrong, yes, most certainly exist. But most people exist outside of those concepts. So,
But you
anyways.
should. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't still strive for it. And I'm not. I know that's not what you're saying.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's like I think it's important to iterate that point. Is you should still aspire for truth, and you should still, because I can't. I'm trying. As you were speaking, then I was trying to think of any example of someone who's been cancelled for doing something other than saying what they believed to be true. So, and I can't think of one.
Maybe
I can't think of one.
Yay has been canceled. I mean, Yay.
But he's still saying what he believes to be true.
Right. He definitely got canceled.
Right, and he
although
got
the irony
for
is he's got his bank account taken. Although the irony is recently a bunch of J.P. Morgan execs were found to have they've been called by the Attorney General of the Virgin Islands for participating in let's just say fun acts with younger folks.
With younger folks, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, so who saw that coming?
Yeah, right. So,
but this is what I mean, right? It's
one
like
person talks some shit, the other actually fucks children. Like, you know.
Yeah. And the other thing is then, like, Balenciaga go like, oh, we want nothing to do with Kanye. Then the whole shit comes out by the ad campaign, and Ye must be sitting there going, cool, I want nothing to do with you either.
Right.
That like you've cut off your nose to spite your face. But it's like, we had Josh Olin on, and he is I was in one of his spaces the other day. Fantastic space.
Yep.
Shout out to Josh.
Yep.
But like it was
JD_2020. Go on.
Rug Radar. Great service. And he is, when he was cancelled back in 2015. And for anyone out there who's going like, oh, they weren't technically cancelled because they're still here. Yes, there's a difference between cancelled and executed. But because I fucking hate that. I fucking hate that.
That's funny.
I hate that opposition to cancel culture existing when people go, oh, no, cancel culture doesn't exist. I mean, what are you saying? These people are still here. It's like, yes, but they do not have the same access or freedom to say things as you do as a compliant little minion. So yes, it does exist. Like it doesn't help solve the problem.
It's not. And here's the thing about go on. Sorry, finish your point. I'm sorry.
No, I was like, because the point that I was going to bring up about sort of cancel culture at large, the idea of still telling the truth, and the idea of you should still do it because the best possible thing can come of it, right? I'm trying to remember. I'm paraphrasing from Jordan Peterson, which is so weird. I haven't done that on any other episode.
Ever.
But he said it was something along these lines. It was tell the truth. And then if you tell the truth, you then just have to trust that whatever happens as a result is the best thing that could have possibly happened.
He's right. He's right about that.
But it's a very liberating. That's a very liberating way to live. So, like, look at Josh's case. He said that bigot can say whatever he likes within his own home. That was what he said.
Yes.
And then why did he get cancelled? Because there are people out there who don't think that this man should be allowed to say whatever he wants within his own home.
Right.
That's why he got cancelled. Like
right.
Because he lost his job. I don't think it perfectly aligns with the expression getting cancelled as far as I'm concerned. Like he got sacked. He got fired for saying something that he believed to be true. And go on.
No, go on.
No, I don't know how to land this particular plane.
So here's the thing. Like, I don't know if I believe in karma. I think there are some
Okay.
people who do evil and get away with it. And I think there's a lot of them. What I can rely on, or at least what I can take solace in, is that behavior is consistent, right?
What
If
would
you're
you mean by that?
So if you're a bad person
Yeah.
and you have no interest in becoming a good person, well, you're probably going to behave poorly consistently for a while if you're not caught or if you're not dealt with.
Or you believe what you're doing is righteous.
Correct.
Which is what the majority of the mob, because, for example, I believe when I get my tinfoil hat on, the people at the top, the puppeteers, I don't know what's more terrifying. The idea that people with so much power think they're doing well, think they're doing good and are acting with benevolence, or they're actively being malevolent.
But
I don't know what's worse about that.
But here's the thing. Here's what's important. In my personal experience, I did comedy. I was canceled twice. Not once, but twice. Most of those people aren't successful. And a lot of the times, those members of the mob who are malevolent forces or malevolent actors, their malevolence, depending on the person, usually arises from some sort of character defect. And that character defect is vastly more powerful than their temporary power in the mob or as an accuser, is what I've learned. Because after 10 years, because you fast forward 5 or 10 years and you check in and see, you fast forward 5 or 10 years and you check in and see what these people are doing. They haven't really moved very far. They haven't really done anything. They haven't gotten.
They're not comfortable with themselves. Like, because somebody who's got, like, I remember on that episode with Josh, right? Like, I remember asking him if he did it, if he spoke out like that on Twitter as a contrarian, or if he just did it as a passing comment. Because, and then he said, like, but your position in this.
Yeah.
Well, no, but then he said, like, your position in this as if I knew what cancel culture was. Like, you're saying this as if that was even a thing in my mind. Like, no. I thought, because I can't remember what era, like, some current event had happened, because he linked it to that when he said, like,
maybe it was Ferguson.
We just come
something.
off the. Oh, was it? Oh, it was like Trump and Hillary or something, and it was like the whole thing of, like,
it was something.
It was something like the argument for Trump was that, he might speak out of turn and be off color, but he's going to get it done. And the whole argument against that was the ends don't justify the means. And he was saying, like, so we just come off the whole back of this national conversation of the ends don't justify the means. And now I go ahead and tweet this, and suddenly the ends justify the means. Like, I need to lose my job and lose my livelihood because I've spoke out of turn, even though everyone acknowledges that's a horrible thing to happen to me. Oh, well, it's necessary because that we can't let vile people like you speak. So the ends suddenly justify the means.
The irony is, my buddy. So I have another a friend of mine who's in comedy named Alan. I don't think he minds if I mention his name. Alan Bromwell. Shout out to you, Alan. He's a comic in Denver, Colorado. We talked about this, and it's funny because Louis C.K. does a bit about this, but he found when he was canceled, the people who were most likely to support him were actually black people, which is funny.
Right.
A lot of these guys who are accused of either racism or, inappropriate sexual behavior usually are the first allies they find are African Americans or black people in the United States, right? And the reason for that is, and this is the irony I find in all of this, is you are self-proclaimed as a as a paladin, right? You're a paladin for racial justice, while simultaneously using the tools that the most evil people, the most hateful of
Yeah.
blacks, especially Black Americans, used on a regular basis. I think it's upwards of about 40% of lynches were due to in the United States were due to a false accusation from a white woman. That's 40%. That's 40% we can identify historically, right? And what's troubling about and that's why I suspect a lot of African Americans are the first to sort of come to these people, because I mean, if there's anyone who understands being accused for something after doing nothing, it is the Black American.
Right. Well, it's like, but I've told you about. So my most egregious crime in my circle was saying that I don't support the Black Lives Matter organization /
something you have in common with Black people.
Yeah, right. And something that we both find quite comical is the only people that have cut me out of their lives and want nothing to do with me have been white.
Yep.
And I have gained almost exclusively Black friends off the back of them finding this out about me.
Yeah.
Not that white people have cut me out, that I don't support. They haven't gone like, oh right, there's an open spot.
Good.
But like they have gone like off the back of finding that out. And do you know, one of the things that I think, because as I say, it's not exclusively Black people, but like it's largely, and genuinely when I think about it, and I'm not saying that this makes all white people dishonest, but like what I mean is like I think
makes
when
a particular type of white person dishonest. That's for sure.
Yes, but the other thing is I think that when somebody hears that, and let's say when a Black person hears that, when they hear that a white guy has come forward and gone, yeah, I don't support this movement, they're going like, wow, okay, at least he's honest, because there's a lot of white people who don't support that movement, but they won't say anything. So the fact that
there's
he's
a lot of white people who
something,
say that they do support this movement, and
when they don't,
right? I forget
Right,
which
and so
reporter. Oh, sorry. Go on, buddy.
no, I was just going to say like that just to close that point is like, so I think they hear that and then they go like, oh right, okay, like at least wow, this guy's going to be honest with me. That's a friend.
You know what I think it is? That is true. That is a friend. I think it's more so that you're right. It's a matter of trust, but I think it's more so that there seems to be an understanding that and maybe this is more common in communities of color. I don't know. White Americans tend to report higher rates of loneliness. You English are different, so I can't quantify you guys.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it's just the same in this country. I remember there was a survey, this was years ago, like for a BBC show, so this is like over 10 years ago, where it was something like, I think it was 40% of Brits claimed that they didn't have one single friend, like they didn't have any friends. Yeah, and it's like, bearing in mind these are the sort of people who can't run away from somebody with a clipboard in a shopping centre.
Hilarious.
So
hilarious.
I didn't even mean for that one.
That's very funny. It was a very funny image. Just terrified of a clipboard. No, I knew what you mean, but it's very funny.
I'm imagining somebody with a hoodie on, with their hood up, with their hands in their sleeves, sort of shuffling around a mall. Right. And then somebody with a clipboard approaches them and goes, like, have you got a few moments to save the environment?
Yeah. No, I got it. Yeah. It was very funny. It's still very funny. It doesn't matter what you do. And that's what matters. So, I think there's an understanding that isolation doesn't actually work, but more to the point, in the United States, can't speak for the English, but the problems that seem to be affecting America at large have been problems in the African American community for a while.
Right.
So I'm not actually right. Like I'm black, but I'm mixed race. Right. There are some Black Americans who wouldn't consider me black because of the fact that I'm mixed race. Call it the Obama, whatever. It's fine. My counter
You're not
argument.
a thoroughbred.
I'm not a thoroughbred, not a purebred, unfortunately. My counter argument is always like, well, if I stole something and was running down the street, right, and no one would say, "Hey, stop that mixed guy." They would say probably,
Right,
"Hey, stop that black
right.
guy." But whatever, it's fine.
Yeah, that's a sentence that's never been up. No one's ever said under their breath, "He's mixed." That's not happening.
Right. And so that's very funny. That's good. Just so my listeners know.
Have you met her new boyfriend? He's mixed.
Just so my friends or anyone who's listening to this like is aware. Um, uh, uh, when I say it's very funny, it's not me being condescending. It's me. If you're a comic, you get this, but when something's actually
that's
funny,
the comedian's equivalent of laughter.
that's a huge When I say that's
so
funny,
so anyone out there who wants to do stand up, do it. But just know that if you go to one of those little open mic nights where all you're doing is
performing in front of comics,
you will. It's actually quite. One thing is that you know that if you get a laugh out of all of them, you've nailed it. You've got an absolute platinum.
That's a joke I always use.
Level,
yeah.
right. But then the other thing is you'll just get you will. It's a very interesting noise. I don't even know if I can replicate it. It's just the sound of acknowledgement. It's like if you do a joke and people appreciate it, it's kind of like,
yeah.
Well, yes. Well,
yeah. Good job.
Or
Good
you'll
job.
hear the sort of a noise that tells you, oh fuck, why didn't I think of that? Like, there's
which I also
especially
do.
if it's on some
which I also do.
It's killer
to
like,
you all the time.
When
you
you see somebody
who
who goes up on stage and they just absolutely rip about nothing. Like I once saw a guy do a whole routine. He did 25 minutes about a leaflet from a local dog shelter. And
That's
it was
very good.
killer, and it had me
That's very
aching
good.
for 25 minutes. I'm there going, how have you got this? You've just gone into every minor detail of this document, hunting for jokes, and you've
a lot of good
made
writing.
them.
A lot of good writing.
Oh,
You know,
man,
Nate Bargatze told me that don't just as soon as you land a bit and it starts killing, that's the beginning of your work. I don't know if you know who Nate Bargatze is.
I don't, but it sounds similar to Louis C.K. where he said about he would take his closing bit and then open with it.
Right, and invert the inverted pyramid.
That then because the end of your set, then it cauterizes. Like
right.
Some way or another, you find
a
way to make it stronger.
Right. But anyways, going back to my original, I forgot what the original point was. Basically, that it's interesting. These people are trying to what's happening in the United States at large is what happened to when you study the history of African Americans in the U.S., they're kind of like the canary in the coal mine. Anything that happens to them eventually, besides slavery, eventually it happens to white Americans. And the only people I've noticed who haven't picked up on that pattern have been white Americans. And I find that fascinating. Like right now, what's the big thing in the United States? The struggle with masculinity, right? Amongst white families. There are no dads in the home. Where have I heard that one before?
Right. Yeah.
And there's increasingly the women are disinterested in their men, right? Or their men are either not succeeding or whatever reason. So what I find interesting about that is, that the only ones who haven't seemed to realize it have been white Americans.
No, you're so right, because I remember back in 2015 or so, 2016, when I first started listening to Larry Elder, who
Yeah.
I honestly, and black people, I hope you don't think I'm stealing a hero from you, but I would say he's a hero of mine.
Oh, Larry's a good one.
Because
Yeah.
he's fantastic, right? But then he that it's exactly what you've just said there about like, oh, it's only when, and that is a very salient point, and I've never thought of that before. That it doesn't seem to be an issue on the national stage in the States until white Americans notice.
Well, I'm not even complaining about that. My thing is,
Well, no, I
my
don't think I'm complaining about it, but
No,
I
no,
think what I'm saying is like,
I hope that's not how you're
but
taking
then,
it. Yeah.
no, but what's weird is like they all start complaining about it, but they'll still put the spotlight on black people.
Right. Sure.
But it's only when it's become a problem in there, because then like you say, canary in the coal mine, right? So, for example, the elder statistic I was going to say, like he said in I think it's around about 2015. It was like black single fatherhood or single motherhood rate was 70%, and white single motherhood rate was about 25%.
And now,
but black single motherhood rate in the 70s was 25%.
correct.
So like, but only 40 years later, when white America crosses the same threshold,
Yeah. Well,
does it come to the forefront? And even then, it's not at the forefront. It's still not at the forefront, because that would, and this is where I get, again, stick that tinfoil hat back on, where I think they're actively acting by they are, I mean, the government, they're acting against our best interests, because if they actually addressed single motherhood rate, they would solve problems. And they don't want to solve problems, because then you get more independent and more capable and more powerful.
Well, families are scary. There's a great
To whom?
to power, to government,
Right. Exactly.
to companies, to anyone who has an interest outside of their own family.
Yeah.
Right? Like the biggest a lot of people were complaining about what's it called? What is it called? The pandemic. But what was it when they restrained us? What was it called?
Lockdowns.
Yeah, I already forgot about it. Lockdowns were great for me. I had a great time, so that's probably why I don't even
I'm glad that you've forgotten about it. That's good. That
I had a
shows
great
you're
time.
really living on the beat of your own drum.
Yeah, I just did my thing. So, I also may or may not have gone to other countries, but yeah, no, I know.
Lucky bastard.
This shall be a scandal in the saloons. The thing is like during the pandemic or during lockdowns, people were eating with, like, a lot of conservatives actually really liked it. They don't talk about it. You don't hear about it as much, but they were like, "Oh, I have time to talk with my family. I have time to spend with my family. Hey, you know what? Why am I working this job?
Yeah.
Why am I working so hard at this job? Honey, why don't you quit your job? You like staying with the kids. Why not?
Yeah.
Stay with the kids. We'll figure it out.
Plenty of money.
We'll figure it out, right? I make $200K a year. You make 150, whatever, 200, right? We'll figure it out, because we found more joy not going anywhere and just staying with the people that we loved or that we love, more so than going out and doing whatever, following our careers or whatever. And this isn't to knock anyone who cares about their career or anything like that. That's not what that is. This is more so to the fact that the restructuring of family, or the revitalization of family, is the greatest threat to power, in my opinion.
Yeah.
If you really want to scare whomever they is, to me, they is just a confluence and coalition of mutual interests, right? Strengthen families, make people care about each other.
Yeah.
That's dangerous. It
freaks people out.
It freaks the people.
But it also, but the other thing is on the micro level, because you're certainly right, on the macro level, there's nothing more terrifying, because it's one of those, to those in power, because you can't explain it away. Like, correct. there's no like, well, why do you care about them so much? Well, they're family. nothing goes any deeper than that.
Yeah.
So
it's my son, it's my daughter,
right.
It's my wife.
And that's all you need to say.
Yeah.
And then everyone goes, oh, okay, that's serious. Like Ed Byrne, great comedian, Irish comedian, had a thing he talked years ago about how he said like about the respect you get when she goes from being your girlfriend to your wife.
There's
and
a
then
lot
he
of
goes,
great jokes
and he
on
talks
that.
about being at a party,
Yeah.
and a guy goes to him like, oh, you met your girlfriend, she's really nice. And he goes, oh, actually, that's my wife. Oh, I won't look at her tits again, sorry. It's a really good bit. But, wow, that's really old. That's been lurking in my brain for over a decade.
If I were you and I had a fiance, I would walk around and introduce her as my ex-girlfriend. That would be that would be really funny to me. It's my ex-girlfriend.
But yeah.
Stop telling people that.
But on the yeah, that's a good one. I think like after I'm married, maybe I should do that and just say to people like, yeah, I used to be engaged.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's stages to it. Used to be engaged, but you know, it worked out.
And then when we get into middle age, it would then be, yeah, this is my future widow.
Yes.
Yeah.
That might. Well, that depends. She's proper English. Yeah, she'll find it. She'll get a kick out of that. My ex. Shout out to my ex. She's a good guy. I got no bad feelings with her, but she used to say, we used to plan together. I wanted a tombstone, and on the tombstone it would say, "Please just don't bury me next to my wife." And then she said that on her tombstone, in response, she would make sure she was put right next to me, and the words "ha ha" were imprinted right on top. And I was like, touche. This is why you're good for me.
Yeah, man, that's great. There's a very famous Irish writer called Spike Milligan.
Yeah.
And he wanted on his tombstone, "I told you I was ill." And they wouldn't let him get it. Like the engraver wouldn't let him do it. So he got it written in Gaelic so that he was then permitted to have it written. So still to this day, Spike Milligan's tombstone somewhere in the Republic of Ireland has written on it, "I told you I was ill," but written in Gaelic. Which is just fantastic. Well, yeah. So one thing that I really wanted to, going back to what we were talking about cancel culture, one thing that I really wanted to get your view on as somebody who's been through it with professional repercussions, right? Is why saying sorry doesn't work for these people when they get cancelled.
Man, I should show you this. I saved a lot of Facebook messages,
right,
from that time, and I remember the first time I was like told I did something. I remember I said sorry to people because I was like, I don't know what I did, but I should probably apologize.
Right.
And I remember one girl in particular was like, "Oh, are you really sorry? Are you really sorry?" And she just started mocking me and making fun of me. And it was genuinely, I was like, I was begging people. I was like, I don't want to be a bad person. What did I do? Just tell me what I did, and I will, make whatever needs to be right. And yeah, it didn't matter. It didn't really matter that I was sorry, and it didn't matter. More important? Because
were you sorry
at that stage in my life, I was still I still thought people.
Let's trim the fat. What happened? Obviously, going
Sure.
as far as you're prepared.
Yeah. So I used to do comedy in Chicago, and by the way, one of my friends is going to be joining us on the show, so he can confirm this. Although he does get uncomfortable when we talk about it, but he's a good guy. Shout out to Derek Smith. He'll be here in a week or two. The funniest comedian you've never heard of besides Dwayne Kennedy. I should text Dwayne. Let's see if we can get him on the show.
Yes, you should. Yeah,
Dwayne was on Seinfeld. That's how good Dwayne is, and writes for Chris Rock. You can be in Chicago. This great thing about Dwayne is in Chicago, you could be in Southside Chicago and he'll be shirtless mowing his sister's lawn, and then the next week you'll be in LA and Dwayne will be there writing for Rock. So Dwayne's fantastic. But I'll text him. Actually, I'll text him tonight. But I was sorry because I was at a point in my life where I didn't think people would just. I thought, hey, if people are mad at me, I must have did something. I must have done something. There's no way many people are mad at me, and I've done nothing. Surely I'm guilty of something. It wouldn't make sense for an entire group of people to just be mad at me and to be furious, to behave this way, and for it to be over nothing. Those were naive days.
Well, it's like, well, the other thing is as well is, and then we'll go back to what the story behind it was like, because the other thing is, your entire life's experience up to that point has taught you, oh, if I say sorry, it will go away.
It wasn't even about going away. It was genuinely, I wanted to be a decent human being.
No, right. But what I mean is, like, the when I say go away, I don't mean the people who are coming at you. What I mean is, like, the problem will correct itself and it will end.
Yeah.
Like, you say sorry, you ask for forgiveness, because that's what sorry is asking for forgiveness.
Yeah.
And
make a genuine attempt to fix things, and that's it.
Right. And then after that, it then heals, the wound heals, and life goes on.
Correct.
Whereas that's not what we see now. Is like when you say sorry now, they've smelt blood.
Yes.
The mob smelt blood. They now know that you will bend the knee at all they've got to do is push you far enough, and you'll bend, and you will capitulate.
Yeah.
And because that's what it is sorry is not now a request for forgiveness. It is an admission of capitulation.
Correct. It's like the Salem witch trials, right? It's not. Right. You have to. The only way you can avoid death is by admitting you're a witch, which I would have done back then, to be honest with you, because that seems better than sinking into the ocean.
So so what happened? You're doing comedy in Chicago.
Yeah, I'm doing comedy in Chicago. I wake up one day. I'm doing real well. Things are going good. I'd worked really hard for for more than a year at that point.
Right.
I've been working hard on comedy for a couple of years, and I was still a baby comic. Baby comic is anyone who's under 10 years. A lot of people don't realize this. Like in comedy, you got to put your years in. So 10, 20. 10 is when you begin to receive some respect. 20 is when you could command a room. You know exactly what to do because you've been in every situation. And I had just been doing it for a few years. Now in Chicago, I worked very hard. In Chicago, I did 3 to 5 mics a night every single day for a year. So that would, in the mics, every mic depended. The shortest mic was like 3 minutes, but there weren't many of those. Usually it was about 5 minutes to 7 minutes, sometimes 10 if you're really lucky, right? But 5 to 7 minutes.
Really lucky.
Yeah, 5 to 7 is the average. And so I did that. I did 4 to 5 mics. Yeah, I did probably like more. I think I did only 3 if I couldn't find another one. Like I think Fridays were harder to find mics. But other than that, so let's say 4 to 5 times 7, right? Let's call it 30, 35, right? So that's 70, 105, about 140 mics a month I would do. And I would write at least 10 minutes of new material every month. Most of it was garbage. But every once in a while, you'd find something.
Yeah, to anyone who's never attempted to write comedy before, 10 minutes of new material a month means about 4 hours worth of stuff, from which 10 minutes is extracted, that ends up being said into a microphone.
Correct. And then out of that 10 minutes, 20 seconds, 30 seconds maybe.
Makes it into
makes
an hour.
It into the
act.
Makes it into
it
Yeah. And so I did that for a year, and naturally I got good very fast. Of course you get good that fast. I got to the point where I would go to hip hop open mics and do jokes, right? Just so I could have a different kind of crowd and see, what that was like, and see what how my jokes would work there, and how they would land in that kind of audience. Or I would go to poetry mics. Boy, did they hate me. They hated me. The poets that were not fond of me. The crowd liked me. The poets did not like me. I was like, is this an open mic? And he's like, yeah, we usually do poetry. Is it cool if I do comedy? Yeah, sure, whatever. Mistake. And so I did that, right? And so and the cool thing about those mics is that they'd give you 10 or 15 minutes. So I could practice crowd work. I could practice jokes. I could do whatever the fuck I wanted. And long story short, yeah, I do really good. I do really well. My name starts coming up. I start getting booked for shows like crazy. I was taken on the road. I was taken on the road maybe my second month of comedy or third month out in Chicago, I think. And that's a big, if you don't know that world, that's a big deal. Young comics don't get taken on tour.
No.
Ever. Right?
No.
And so the ones that did, or who do get taken early, always end up being something. And so I'd gathered a lot of success in a year. I gathered a write-up about me there was a expose on me in the Chicago Tribune. And then there was also an article on me in the New York Times. And I was attracting a lot of heat and a lot of attention. The reason why I'm explaining all of this is because I think that, and this sounds going to sound
factored
cocky.
in.
I really do. I really do think that was what caused a lot of the anger. And so I remember one morning I woke up and there was hundreds of texts. I had hundreds of texts on my phone. And I had a whole month worth of so many gigs. I had a bunch of gigs booked. All of them canceled. There turned out to be a comic. I don't mind mentioning her name either. I think it was Rebecca O'Neill, who made illusions that I had done something to sort of harass or hurt women. And Rebecca was I don't know if she is anymore. I don't think she is. Was the queen of comedy in Chicago, and so her word was law, right? That's how much power and influence she had in the scene. And so when she merely just suggested that I had done something, that was enough for me to lose everything. I lost deals. I lost shows. I lost friends or people whom I thought were friends. I lost obviously my reputation. The girl I was with at the time didn't stick around. I lost a lot of admiration from people. One of my heroes had connected with me on Facebook. My comedic heroes connected with me on Facebook. He left. He didn't want to be connected to me anymore. I lost pretty much everything that I'd worked really, 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 really hard for. And I mean, the irony of it was that I worked on a show called Woke Up Stand Up, which still, if you go on Facebook, has a lot of fans. I think we've got at least 1,000 fans still. And that was a show designed to include women and minorities, because Chicago had a really diverse stand-up scene, and I didn't really see the people that I thought were really funny going up as much as I wanted them to. A lot of different people fell under that category. Marilee, shout out to Marilee. She's one of the funniest human beings in the world. I have to show you a video of her later. She's a black comic out in Chicago. Does an impression of an old man's dick singing a Motown classic. It is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Yeah. So I wanted people like that, man. I wanted to bring them up. I wanted them to be heard, and that was kind of the part that really broke my heart, because it's hard for people, I think, to believe this, but I actually did this stuff because I wanted people who looked like me to succeed. There wasn't, I know it's hard to believe. Jordan Peterson talks about this. He says most communists are not, great people, but there are a few who really believe in the cause, and he liked those ones. I would like to think.
He talks about working for the NDP, right?
Right. Yeah.
And I like some people who actually cared. Yeah.
Right. And I like to believe I was one of those people. I did care. I mean, in some ways I do care still. And to work that hard for people, and then for them to kind of make you seem
was this based on anything?
No.
Like, were you in a relationship with a woman, another comic or something?
In Chicago? No.
Right.
No. So, yeah, I lost everything. The only people who would book me were, shout out to the Lincoln Lodge. Derek was part of the Lincoln Lodge. Lincoln Lodge is where Hannibal Buress, TJ Miller, Kumail Nanjiani, all those guys, that's where they did comedy. They still booked me. They still thought I was funny. And shout out to a couple other guys in Chicago comedy who kept me on their shows, which were the best shows. But
one of the things that I love about the mob, speaking sort of figuratively now, clearly, but one of the things that I love deeply about the mob is they're great publicists.
Yeah.
So like when Louis C.K. came back and he started gigging again, like I had no idea until I heard the outcry. The outcry was what alerted me to it, and then it leads me to go, oh, Louis C.K.'s performing again.
Hooray! Yeah.
Great. Let's go watch. Let's because it never has. I don't know if it's their desired outcome, like because they don't. This is the point, right? Is it doesn't achieve what they want. Literally, because they say we demand an apology. They don't want an apology; they want capitulation. Because, as we've already discussed, an apology.
I'd already capitulated. I was already doing what. That was the thing that kind of woke me up. Was like, but I'm on your guys' side.
So I've done the thing that in any other walk of life would result in the beginning, at least, of redemption. And yet, in this situation, no, it's
nothing.
I'm now. No, it doesn't. And this is the point, right? It's like I remember saying so with this friend of mine. Don't even know if he'd even want me to call him a friend, but like when our mutual friends were going, he just wants you to apologize. So okay, that's fine. I've never heard this from him because he won't speak to me. So I should correct that for the record. They've said I think he just wants you to apologize. So okay,
sure,
cool,
whatever.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah,
because I don't believe that I should ever be sorry for telling a friend
how you
truth.
feel. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, man. I mean, it really changed the way I look at people. It really changed the way I looked at women, honestly.
Right.
Because
that's tough.
Because it's like, I grew up in a pretty good community where people didn't lie about things like that. Right. A lot of, when I hear people say, well, why would someone lie about something like that? It's because when I hear that, what I hear is, oh, I grew up in well-to-do, or I grew up around people
right.
with class.
Yeah, it's
They're
quite nice because it reflects well on that person because you go like, oh, at least you wouldn't. But it's
right.
like, look, people don't, we don't know why we do so much of the shit we do as human beings.
Right.
Sorry, that is the most stoner thing I've said the whole episode.
Hilarious.
But it's like, it's the point of like, this is what I mean is like most of these people who support all these various movements, I do think that they're doing good. They actually do think that they're doing good.
I don't think they do. I don't think
You
they
don't
do.
think, not even
Because
in any case?
in some cases, yes. I don't think they always do. I think a lot of the times they don't. I think what this situation taught me was if someone has an issue with you, then they're going to look for an opportunity to kick uh, the metaphorical stool, so to speak, from under your feet,
Right.
so that they can take an arbitrary place of power. I mean, I remember a buddy of mine texting me they're going after you because you're popular and you have power. And I was like, what power? I'm a
Right.
comic. I have no money. Like,
And
what
all
are
it
you
meant
talking
was
about?
You were acquiring competence. That's all that meant.
And so, I mean, Rebecca, I forget her friend. What was her name? Her name. I forget her friend's name, but Bill something, Billy whatever, who's now apparently non-binary, right? Because his comedy wasn't going to get him any attention, and
Because you've got to stay relevant.
right, and yeah.
If the comedy won't do it, by God, the pronouns will.
And then
Welcome
Bill
to the stage.
Right, exactly. Bill Bullock was the name. It's like, you were fucking chicks, bro. Well, when
Yeah, but he still is.
Yeah.
That's the problem. It's just
Yeah.
like when you speak to these people, I've spoken to these young people, like
Yeah.
younger people than me, like before 20, and they, like, I remember speaking to some girl, and she was there like probably 20 years old, and she's there going like, yeah, and I just happen to know this about her, right? And I'm sitting there, and she's going like, yeah, but women are so much more attractive than men, aren't they? Like they just are. Like I just definitely prefer being with girls. It's like, oh,
Okay.
I am right in thinking that 100% of the people you've slept with have been men, though, right? It's like, yeah, but what's that got to do with anything? Well, what you've just been talking about. Oh, you
That's
definitely
good.
prefer women and you only want to be with women, but you've exclusively been with men. And I don't care.
Right.
You care. I don't
Right.
care who you go to bed with. I'm not interested, but don't give me this bullshit of like, oh, because you're trying to tell me like, look, I'm edgy. I've got this angle to me. I'm bisexual. I've got this edge to my personality. It's like, no, that's this is, and they, of course, they don't say this, but this is the inference, right? It's like, no, that's not your personality. It's your sexuality. There, please, for the love of God, do not let those things overlap. They don't need to. Of course, they're going to a bit, but they really don't need to. Like, you can live your life and be a fun, interesting individual without needing to lean on the crutch of the fact that you have an obscure sexuality, which isn't even obscure anymore.
Right.
That
It's
ship
not even
has
interesting.
sailed.
Yeah, it's not even interesting. The thing is, I wrote a Medium piece that gained a lot of heat, and then I made it private because I just didn't want future employers, because I didn't want future employers to see.
That's exactly what I think about this podcast.
That's funny. Well, no, I mean, I'm just saying, like, did I delete it? Maybe I'll post it, and send it to you, because here's the thing, like, yeah, hang on just a second. Let me double check if it's here. Stories, all my stories, and recall that every position published, unlisted. There it is. Yeah, I wrote a story about it. A lot of people read it, and I have all the texts. Right. A lot of people, telling me that you like blow me off whenever I talk to you. And I was like, I was trying to do 5 mics a night. I was trying to work. Yeah. And I have all these texts of these people This is all I'm going to have to say about any of this. You have to really push people to have them post anything about you. So I don't think you're a victim, or this all just happened to you. You've earned this kind of attention from, and it's redacted, but it's Rebecca O'Neill. And that was from someone who's my closest friend. And then there was someone who said, Basil, stop lying on women. We all have receipts and we know you don't want them out there. I was like, put whatever receipts you have out there. I don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
Like, I genuinely have no idea what you're talking about.
Gosh, just like what's going on with the British royal family.
I mean, I could show you this, and I might post this. I got a text from someone random telling me to kill myself. Numbers I'd never seen before.
Did it work?
Well, I got someone texting me saying, "Nope, you're not. Blah blah blah. You're unimportant. You're gonna pay." Was another one. Hello, blah blah blah. It's Basil. I'd really like to talk if possible, please. I'd like to handle things between us as people and former friends before anything else. And they were like, before anything else, like what, suing me? I've contacted my lawyer and have not advised to speak to you because you're threatening legal action. I told the truth about you and you wrote a post lying about me. Okay. Yeah, then there was one guy named Tristan who wrote that my show was over and that they had no idea what I was doing. At that point, they hadn't. These are my producers for my show. They hadn't asked me if I'd done anything. They hadn't verified whether I'd done anything. They had just decided to stop my show because
because they need to. Because the trouble is like, maybe this is going to sound like I'm sympathizing with them. I'm not. I'm just sort of trying to look at the situation as objectively as possible. It's like, because these people, like these executives, these producers, directors, these people, whenever this kicks off in the entertainment industry, they know that they're not going to be able to distribute what actually happened at the same speed that the story has already spread. And they need to, if they have any hope, they need to outpace. It's the only thing, like, to tie it all the way back round to Tate again, it's the only advantage that he's got is he can keep up with the wildfire of we don't know what's true at this point. We don't know whether he's guilty, but let's just say that for the sake of, I don't know, being consistent. But it's like he can at least keep pace with the spread of one story with his story.
Right. And I couldn't. This is the first time someone had ever done that to me.
No one can. Very, very few people can.
Yeah.
Because it's like that guy, whether it was calculated or whether it was accidental or whether it was somewhere in between, which is probably where the truth lies, he took over TikTok without having an account.
Right.
Like, so yeah, those things are still circulating, and that's what's keeping him in the clear for the moment. And on a personal note, long may that continue.
I mean, and here's the thing. So, just to I mean, when it comes to my story, when my team heard of this fiasco, I wasn't really given any opportunity to defend myself. Right, like a vague accusation was enough for them to throw me under the bus, right? And by the way, when I found out that these claims weren't true, none of them apologized. None of them apologized to me, right?
Maybe it's because they know. Maybe it's because they already knew, being on the other side of it, that apologies do nothing.
What? Yeah. Well, I would have done something. One of them did. That meant a lot to me. But it was it was pretty traumatic, actually.
Yeah, because like, and this is something where our experiences, despite the stakes being vastly different, do align. Which is, if you're in any way introspective or self-aware, and interestingly, I'm thinking of the letter that my friend who no longer considers himself such, wrote me, seeing as you're talking about the letter as well, or letters that you received. One of the things that he said in it was, I say letter, email, but one of the things that he said in it was, if you've got any shred of self-awareness, you'll find this letter revolting. And he was right. I did find it revolting because it was so many character assassinating points about how terrible a person I am that, yeah, of course, because immediately you go like, wow, I must have really done something for you to come at me like this. Like, wow, fuck, what if I am in the wrong? What if I did do something? And then you let it marinate and you sit there and you sit there and you go like, oh, actually, no, I remained truthful to the best of my ability and the best of my knowledge. I said what I believe to be true. And no, I'm not going to apologize for that.
So, well, I don't think these people are normal. I mean, one girl said that I was scrolled through her phone. This is Rebecca O'Neill. The funny thing is, Rebecca was on, she did one little thing for Comedy Central and was on Two Dope Queens, which was a popular comedy show. So she's still gaining popularity. She's very funny. She's not a good person, you know?
Right.
And it sucks because I really admired her. And yeah, it really changed me, man. Especially when people started texting me, that means my number was being handed out. People started texting me to kill myself, and you know, the other interesting thing was people kept saying that I was going to play the victim, which is very clever, like Jedi level manipulation, right? Because what that means,
but they wouldn't even say who the victims were.
No, I was going to play the victim once this happened.
No, but what I'm saying, yeah, they're leveling that at you, but like, and you don't have to say names, but like,
I'll say names. Yeah, there was no
but
one.
these people making these accusations about your conduct, towards women. Did they name anybody? Did they name the women that you'd been?
That's, you know what's funny?
Rude.
There's a guy named Ricky Gonzalez. Shout out to Ricky if you still doing comedy. He's a friend of Derek's. He helps run the Lincoln Lodge. He was talking to Sarah. The fuck, what was her name? Sarah. Is it Sarah Sherman? I think it's Sarah Sherman. So Sarah Sherman is now on SNL, and Sarah didn't want me on stage, right, to do a show. And I remember I saw him from far away shouting at her, "What did he do? Who did he do? What did he do to anyone? What did he do?"
Right.
And Sarah just sat there like with her mouth open. And it was like, okay, then he's on my fucking show. And that was really interesting to me because of that, because it was.
It's a kangaroo court. It's exactly what we talked about for most of this episode. It's trial by consensus,
right?
Which is not how justice is ever to be enacted. Even if they're right, that is still not how you enact justice.
What was weird is that there were a couple of, like, Rebecca's black, like that these black people were blind to the racial politics behind false accusation and exaggeration is in itself sort of like a testament to their instability. Like that nuanced understanding.
And also, this is around the same time as the Ryan Lochte stuff, right?
Well, who's Ryan? Remind me who Ryan Lochte is.
I think I'm getting that name right. The swimmer who was accused of sexual assault.
Yes.
But then the whole press, the whole story was that he was white, so he was going to get away with it.
Yeah, I mean the irony is. Go on.
No, I was going to say, and yet at a similar time, we've got coming at a black guy, not like you say, not having any consideration for the optics of how that looks with the current lens at that time of racial politics.
Well, what's in, like, it's just interesting, right? Like, there's a nuanced understanding.
It's certainly interesting. Yes,
I thought there was a nuanced understanding of all things that comes with being black that, according to their system of rules, should come into play, right? And
well,
and
this is something that you and I have spoken about at length. And maybe we know it now is like their system of rules. By
subjective.
we're now just speaking about anyone who can fall into the group woke.
Yeah.
Is the one of the hallmarks of this woke movement, this avenue of the culture, is that the rules keep changing, so that you can never get a grip.
And that's the point. So you don't ever know what the rules are.
No.
But it's weird because it's like, if you just lie about things like this, or like if you're, according to your rules, falsely employing something like this, like feminism, as a tool to exploit another person's suffering in pursuit of a personal vendetta, is the exact sort of action that reinforces the existing so-called patriarchal power structures that you're concerned about. And it's instances like this that allow those in support of the status quo whom you hate to say, look, they're liars.
Yeah.
So it's not even, it doesn't even help you.
Yeah, you're literally, you are undermining your own credibility because you are in such a privileged position that you think you can get away with it. Like that to me is the crux of it. The only reason you would lie about this is because you believe
you could.
that you yourself are untouchable.
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing, man. Like, it really changed me as a human being. I was suicidal because I'd finally found the thing that I love to do, and I thought, I'm going to do this. I don't know if you ever had a moment in your life where you're like, oh, this is what I'm good at. This is what I can do.
And then
I can
another
do this.
moment, and then another moment in your life where you go like, what would it be like if I wasn't here?
Yeah.
Where things go so much the other way.
Yeah. Because I'd never received so many hateful messages from people I'd never met before in my life. I thought I was doing the right thing. I thought people didn't act like this, man. I thought
no, it's one of those. It's a bit like, I don't know. It's a bit like somebody getting. Maybe that's a bit too extreme an analogy, but like somebody getting murdered, where you think, oh, it's not going to happen to me though. I'm going to read about it. I'm going to hear about it, but it's never going to be me. Because it's like like
it's so uninspired and politically tone deaf to, like, at this point in American history, to accuse a black dude of something they didn't do. It's like, be creative, I don't know.
Yeah, right.
Accuse me of, like, I don't know, man, like white collar crime. But, like, the fact that Rebecca was black and this other person was my good friend and she's, white. I know that none of that matters, but Rebecca's being black matters a little bit to me. And it's the closest I've ever come to probably wanting to end my life. And I remember driving from Chicago to back home to Denver, weeping the whole time. Like, just 10 hours until there was a really nice comic named Lindsay, forget her last name, but she called me and I was just weeping. She was like, hey, where are you? And I was like, I left the city. I couldn't do it anymore. So they won. And I have regrets on that. I wish I was stronger, but at the time I was such a gentle person. That guy is gone. That guy is long dead. But at the time, I really cared a lot. I really cared about people.
Yeah.
And it changed me in a way like nothing else has in my life. And the same thing happened again in Denver, and I was like, I quit comedy. I can't do this. I can't be just, in my whole life, I've never been accused of any sort of misconduct ever. I had maybe had like 2 speeding tickets. I'd been suspended for school once from elementary school, right? From getting into a fight with a kid. After that, spotless record. And yet here I was, right? Being accused of things that I was like, what? That's not me. And
it's a jarring position in one's life, because you don't know where to go, because you're in this damned if I do, damned if I don't situation where, because you're like, your instinct says deny it, but then your logical brain goes, that's what a guilty person would do.
Right.
Like
well, that's the point, right? Like, it's the brilliant part of my crucifixion was that I couldn't prevent. I could, if they said something like he's going to play the victim, I can't defend myself,
right?
Because if I'm defend myself, I'm playing the victim. It's like when someone
and they could pull the "I told you" card.
Yeah, when someone if a overly forceful cop was beating you up and said, "You're resisting arrest," and you're like, "Wait, what?" And they just start beating you even harder. It's like, like, what? He's an abuser, harasser. Wait, what? No, I'm not. He's denying it. He's resisting it.
Yeah.
Kill the witch, right? Like, that's what it was. So it changed who I was, man, forever. It's why I don't really care about artists very, very much. So I don't care about people very much. It's also why my political leanings have shifted so much. For a while, I went like almost far right.
No, but that's not true, because you do care about people. I think because I've witnessed this, but no, you do. It has changed your barometer, let's say. So it's like it's probably made you more skeptical, and then the bit that I think you probably mean is it's made you more cynical, because that is certainly that's certainly something that happens to anyone when they've been kind of ostracized and cut out on that level, is you, especially because you thought that these people were acting with integrity the entire time, and that's what happens to lots of people, because that's certainly something that I can call from personally, is you think that they're acting with integrity, and then when they don't, you then get you can grow very cynical and go like, well, nobody's acting with integrity then, because I thought this guy was, and he turned out to pull the rug. So what's stopping anyone else? And that's the bit where it can become quite cynical. I don't know how to end this episode.
Well, we can. I got it. Don't worry. But
okay,
I think this is honestly what's the reason why I bring all of this is honestly because
I'm very glad you did. By the way, I want that said. I really appreciate you telling this story, because I think it's important. I like to believe that this is one that our viewership will revisit when we have more accumulated more of a following, because this is like an origin story almost.
Yeah.
And I think it's important. I think it's very important.
Well, so I tell this for two reasons, and you have your own story, and I think you need to share it sometime as well. But, unless you want to share it now, which I'm also okay with, but we can do another episode as well.
Yeah, we'll do another episode. I think we should try and keep this one under 2 hours. That'll be good.
Yeah.
For this.
What I'll say is this: people hate Andrew Tate. The reason why they hate Andrew Tate is for a myriad of reasons. But the reason why everyone likes Andrew Tate is for the same reason, which is...
Wow, yes.
They are interested in the truth being said, even if it is hyperbolic. We've reached an age, what is it? C.S. Lewis says this, saying that speaking the truth is an act of courage. The first step required to speak truth is courage, right? Tate says things that everyone else thinks, not all the time, right? The hopping from plane to plane with girls, maybe there's debate there, but the degradation and sort of the promiscuity of society at large, especially particularly in women, has hurt society. This was once accepted as a universal truth. And the mere act of him stepping out of line, quote unquote, to say that is an act of heroism, which is why so many young kids look up to him, because he's saying things that not only were just true moments ago in human history, but also everyone else is too afraid to say.
Right.
That alone, no matter how ridiculous you are, right? Like even if you become too, in some ways, being ridiculous almost enhances it to a point, right? There's a point of diminishing return, I think, when it comes to that sort of level of truth. But that said, it actually lends to his heroism or his being seen as a hero, because he's just saying what a lot of kids are probably thinking, and they're not all, and as opposed to what people say about him, it's not all chauvinist nonsense, right? It's all evil thoughts about how women should behave. No, you're focusing on the wrong thing. The people who like him have parts of him, usually have parts that they disagree with him, but more importantly,
Right.
focus on.
There, you've nailed it. You've nailed it. The people who like him do not necessarily like all of him,
but they love the parts that are real.
Yeah,
that
but they
were
recognize that, because what they like is, and this is why I'm trying to choose my words carefully. This is why I says what he believes to be true.
Correct.
Because it's not
another act of courage, right?
Right.
Because you're going to fall off that cliff eventually when you say that what you believe in. Yeah,
exactly. So it's like, and this is the point, right? Is like he's saying what he believes to be true. So that means that, and that's where your point about, and that's a very poignant way of putting it, that people who don't like him, there's a myriad of reasons. People who do like him, it's one, and it's because he says what he believes to be true.
Correct.
Because they then make up their own mind.
Correct.
Because the myriad of reasons are put out by various publications, and then people listen to this or read it and go, great, okay, that's that reason. I'll adopt that reason and put that reason on me.
Right.
And this is why now I don't like Andrew Tate.
Right. And
whereas the ones who do, go on.
Yeah, go on, finish.
The ones who do, the reason is more nuanced. Or no, well, the meta reason is the same.
Right.
But then within that meta reason, they have their differences. It might be because they like that he is funny, which he is. It might be because they like that he's successful in business. It might be because they like that he is hyper masculine. Know, the list goes on.
Sure.
But the meta reason is the same.
It's the truth. And until people, this is the thing that bothers me, especially with people who've had the things that have happened to me, and people like you who've had things happen to you, to them, until you give a suitable replacement or alternative to Andrew Tate, you're not going to stop him. And if you do stop him, a bigger and grander monster is coming.
Yeah, exactly.
So choose your fate. Bring a healthy form of masculinity and support it. Or good luck, because the next few years are going to be rough.
Sleep tight.
Hey guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you got value out of this, check out this video right here.